Hello everybody, I'm Mark Evers from Mark Evers Photography, and I thought today I would share with you a little test that I'm doing. I recently picked up a used light box, power pack for, it's actually a Speedotron 2403B. It's an older model. It's something I think that was produced in the 80s, so I got a pretty good deal on it. But anyways, I've only really played with it a little bit. But what I have not done yet is try doing a setup where I have my background lights different exposure than my main light, and I'm thinking with this power pack it might be a little trickier than what I'd normally do with speed lights because everything is all connected within the box, so I don't completely have individual control over the separate lights. So basically, I figured I'd do it on YouTube for you guys so you can see my thinking as I work through it, because I have not done this yet. So you're basically seeing it as I'm doing it. So I'll walk you through my thinking process and what I want to do to try and get the look that I'm going for. So basically, my plan is that I want to get my background 2 stops brighter than my subject. So I'm aiming to get the background at f11, and my subject, which in this case is just going to be me, just to test the lighting setup, is I'm aiming for f5.6. So that should basically give me a nice white background and a nicely exposed subject. So basically, with this box here, you can't see it, but I'll do a B-roll so you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But it actually has 3 channels. There's one channel at 800 watt seconds, one at 1200 watt seconds, and one at 400 watt seconds. And I can actually take those 3 channels and I could combine either like the 800 with the 1200 or the 400 with the 1200, or combine all 3 to give me a full 2400 watt seconds out of this unit. So basically, because I want the background brighter, I've actually hooked the background lights into the 1200 watt second, and my thinking behind that is, with that being the brightest, the most powerful one on its own, I'm thinking it should work nicely to give me a half decent balance of what I'm looking for. Now, with there being 2 lights in it, each light is actually going to have about 600 watt seconds each, because it's divided along that channel. And probably what I'm going to do for my main light is I'll try it first in the 400 watt second channel, and if it's not bright enough, then I'll bring it up into the 800 watt channel just to see if I can get it to where I want it to be. Now, also with my thinking process, I am going to have the main light disconnected first, and I'm going to meter just the back lights. That way I don't get any light spill from this one, and then vice versa. When I'm metering this one, I'm going to turn off the rear lights so that I don't get any light coming from that throwing off my reading. That way I can make sure everything is nicely balanced. So I'll get started. I currently don't have that one plugged in. I'll get the back ones plugged in. I'm going to turn this thing on, so there might be a little bit of hum from the fans and the lights, but we'll see how it looks. And I'll take my first test and see how close I am to the f11 that I'm looking for. Oh, and I should also note that there is a dial on there, so basically I have it at 0, and I can adjust it by plus or minus 3 stops. So if I'm a little bit brighter, a little bit low, I can hopefully get to the f11 by tweaking that. But the biggest issue is that once I have the back set, I can no longer touch that, because if I adjust it to try and get my front light at f5.6, then my back will no longer be at f11, because everything works in relation to each other. But anyways, let's give it a go. I have my light meter here, and basically I've got it set for 1/160th of a second, because that's normally what I shoot at here in the studio, and we will give it a go. Power this thing on. I don't have pocket wizards, so I'm just using a little new ear set of triggers to fire this thing off. So this is the first go. Let's see how close we get to F11. And I'm just going to duck down a little bit so I'm not in the way of the lights at all and get a nice clean reading. And actually not bad, it's F16, so I'm just going to back it off a stop and see what we get from that. With this unit, I'm not sure how accurate it is, whether or not when I turn this, the number of stops by full stop, whether it is actually accurate, because like I said, it's an old unit and I haven't really played with it that much, so it's going to be a learning curve for me, and you guys get to come along for the ride. That gave me F14, so I'll back it up a little bit more. F10, so bump it up just a hair. There, F11, just do it one more time just to make sure. Like I said, they're new, so making sure it's cycling properly. And yes, we're definitely at F11, so that's perfect. That didn't take too long at all. Turn it off. Clear the power out of it. And with these units, they recommend that you turn them off before you start switching lights around. That's why I did, instead of just pulling it off on the fly. Pull that out. And like I said, I'm going to start on the 400 watt second and see what that gives me. Sit down in my chair, under the chin. 6.3. So I'm close to what I'm looking at, actually, because I was looking for 5.6, and I am on the 400 watt second, so that's the lowest power that I can do without actually manually adjusting. But as I said before, that'll mess up the exposure on the background. So thinking through it, my options, how do I get that down to 5.6? And in this case, the easiest way is just going to be to move the light back a little bit from the stool and see if I can quickly get it into 5.6. We will try this, see what that gets me. Still saying 6.3, so back it up some more. That is F5, so we're actually just a little under the 5.6 I'm looking for. So move it forward a little bit. It's all a matter of playing around and just getting it exactly where you want it. Now, in a case like this, I would actually, if I had a model here, I'd actually have this set up ahead of time just to save some trouble so they're not sitting around waiting for me, or if they're changing into an outfit, I would do that at the same time. And there we go, 5.6. So that didn't take too long, considering I've never really played with this before, and I wasn't sure how easy or difficult it was going to be to balance everything, but it worked out better than I thought. So I'm going to just quickly shut it down, plug all the lights in, and just make sure everything is still where I'm looking to have it. Okay, got everything plugged in. Now I expect my readings are probably going to vary a little bit just because of the fact I got all lights going, but let's just see how close we still are. It's telling me F13, but for what I'm doing, I'd rather be a little bit hotter than a little bit not as hot, so the F13 I can live with. And this one here, it's telling me F9 now, so it must be getting a lot of light coming back in from those lights there. But anyways, still gives you a pretty good idea as to how you could do it. I could move myself a little bit further away from the background lights to avoid the spill from there if I wanted to. Move myself forward and then adjust the distance from that light accordingly. But anyways, thought that information you might find useful for playing around with lights. And if you have any questions, leave them below. If you like what you see, subscribe, and hope you have a good day. Bye now.